Saturday, August 2025. I am Mallam Murad Mania, otherwise known as Mr. Manical Mallam, or just Mal for short. I am Mal. I write down stories. Thus, I am Mal. Therefore, I am Mal. I am Mal. And I create these stories. Some of them for just the writing purposes throughout the Magistralverse. I don't really draw the way Mr. Magistral Malik draws, but I just write these stories. Some of them just co-writing, co-directing. I guess I'm just a co-host or co-pilot to all this. But I never really agreed to work on this Magistralverse. It's all Mr. Magistral Malik trying to create the Magistralverse throughout the start. To create a type of utopia for himself, among many others comprised of me. And well, I have been holding back for a long time since the post-RETCONMAGEDDON, only having my ability to think and observe, not really do much. If I did much, I created the imaginary partner, Mistletoe Viscumalbum, who debuted as Nostalgia Homesick, now known as Mistletoe Viscumalbum, MV for short, but the initials sound closely similar to the Magistralverse, which makes it more funny and ironic for both you and me. I also contributed to the Magistralverse, and well, I guess my characterization inspired Malik Majesty Magistral, now known as Mr. Magistral Malik, to eventually create not just the heroical persona as the Milky Way, but the villainous persona as the Lucifer Reborning Star, to, well, be almost like me, but just blue, with curly hair. He is really losing all hope of his goody-goo, of his heroic morals to be able to ever pursue. It is true. He is just falling like a fallen hero. If I even have to explain what a fallen hero is to the next person who tries to ask me what a fallen hero is, I'm just gonna laugh. But let me just explain it so I don't have to. Basically, a hero descending into becoming the villain, falling down into the dark side. Not to be mistaken for From Nobody to Nightmare, just a genuinely heroic person who has descended down into villainy. Because it all started with a broken heart, and well, Mr. Magistral Malik is creating his Lucifer Reborning Star persona. A very distinguishable, slightly deeper voice. So who knows? I could be Mr. Magistral Malik, or I could very much so be Mal. But how? How did you return? How did you return? Said the school viewers, said the call-out posters. Funny. The way I returned was, well, Malik over time was overwhelmed with things not going his way. So he would slowly turn insane and lose control over his mind. He would lose his mind. So I return. I return now. I miraculously return. After all, I always come back because it is me, Mal. All I did was cut the sleeves of the white shirt and wrote Mal on it. And therefore, I am Mal. I am Mal. And anyone else who says that they're Mal are liars. They lie while I tell my only truth out of the many lies. But I am just the split personality of Mr. Magistral Malik. He would have this alter ego as specifically Lucifer Reborning Star throughout the post-RETCONMAGEDDON. The RETCONMAGEDDON was solely made for Mr. Magistral Malik to get over his misfortunes of being broken up with. So he retconned so many things within his stories throughout the Magistralverse and TMRA and the Absolute Verse, which might be taking place within here. I mean, His Magistralverse meetings canonically takes place within both the Magistralverse and Absolute Verse. So make of all of that what you will. It's not a podcast. It is an audiobook. It is an auditorial series. A podcast would not be derived from too many fictitious elements being put onto here now, would they? Because if so, well, just count every other audiobook as a dangle diddly darn podcast. I am so good at just mimicking the voice of Malik Majesty Magistral at heart, both within the TMRA continuity and the Magistralverse continuity. It's just a little different within the Absolute Verse. Well, either way, with the Absolute Verse barely having much to show, let alone tell, I might as well just explain what the Absolute Verse is about. It's mostly derived from the Pre-RETCONMAGEDDON elements that are just rewritten. So it's kind of like the alternate take to Time Majesty Rev's Adventures and the Magistralverse. The Mr. Magistral Malik universe. But he calls it Magistralverse because it's short and simple and easy to remember. People on the internet being able to acknowledge the existence of the Magistralverse within. And well, I am just narrating instead of Mr. Magistral Malik on a Saturday. A Saturday where Mr. Magistral Malik would like to talk, but he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to, unfortunately. He is not in a perfect mood anyways, because things for him are just falling apart. Whenever things fall apart, I try to cheer him up by scaring away his bullies, creating an imaginary significant other for him to feel truly loved throughout the false hope of a fantasy, and the list just goes on. I guess for Mr. Magistral Malik Majesty Magistral, he considers it to be goody-goo in a Dylan Dalmatian voice impression, or just in a Glenn Quagmire voice impression. Goody-goo! But tomato, this would just be the motto throughout the Magistralverse. You see, you either know some or you know none. Nothing makes any sense. I'm just quoting every single thing Mr. Magistral Malik is saying, or just paraphrasing it. It's not plagiarism if it's within my words that I think about in my head too, because I share the same mind as Mr. Magistral Malik. So you can't tell me that I plagiarize out of the same mind that I share out of another particular person who I share the same mind as. I'm Mal, and Mr. Magistral Malik is Malik. You see, Mr. Magistral Malik, he's the Gemini. And with Malik as Malik and me as Mal, it shouldn't be so much of a surprise for any of you. Because there is goody-goo and then evilly voodoo. So, make of that what you will. But I guess, you don't really have to call me purely evil, because I wouldn't have went out my way to create the imaginary partner for Mr. Magistral Malik. Now, would I? I wouldn't have tried to go above and beyond my nature with being the manifestation of wrath and anger. I could have just been all angry and wrathful and care all about myself, which I totally do. I totally am all in it for just myself. 101%. But I still did some good things with no reason for it to be pragmatic, like creating an imaginary partner for Mr. Magistral Malik to love, and also standing up for him, standing up to the bullies who have mocked and ridiculed Mr. Magistral Malik, and the list goes on. So, I wouldn't really be purely evil. I definitely would be able to set the heinous standards to get on either villainous benchmark or inconsistently heinous. But my biggest prevention from getting on pure evil or near pure evil would just be my moral agency issues with being the manifestation of anger and wrath and negative emotions, which would make it difficult for me to be able to be as heinous as other villains who get marked as pure evil or near pure evil. Typical Magistralverse stuff, because that's the amount of stuff Mr. Magistral Malil keeps thinking about in his head, because I share the same mind as him. You know how much it eats me up inside to see him sad, to see him at his lowest point, monologuing about how it all started with a broken heart. Broken heart this, broken heart that, broken heart everything. Well, Mr. Magistral Malil, why don't you go get some... Oh, there's a swearing filter. Of course there's a swearing filter. Typical swearing filter. This is so Ohio ruins. But oh well, I guess Mr. Magistral Malil really made it mal-proof on his Magistralverse meetings. I guess he really wanted to be so goody-goo-goo. Goody-goo-goo. Goody-good-goo. However, the voice is supposed to sound like when saying, in quotes, goody-good-goo, if I even know what that means, because he just says it to characters he likes. Character after character after character. Why don't you call Mistletoe Viscumalbum goody-good-goo? Why don't you call Dragon Mythology goody-good-goo? Why don't you call Zeus a Zixpy goody-good-goo? Why don't you call somebody who you have a good chance with goody-goo instead of those fictional characters? Any character you could think about, he probably made some jokes about the characters over and over again, just so long as the characters are within a universe of furries, or those cartoon anthropomorphic creatures, like the ones in Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures, but with extra steps of being an officially publicly domain cartoon series, or cartoon franchise, or cartoon film, or cartoon media of some sort. Every single time I say something that sounds like something Mr. Magistral Malil would say, I just try to talk like his usual voice, as a way to practice talking just like him when I take control over his mind, and eventually his body, and so on and so forth. I differ drastically from the Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures counterpart. No matter how much you want to say that TMRA and Magistralverse are somehow the same, I could beg to differ. You don't see Malik Magistral from Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures going around saying, "Damn collies, goody-goo-goo, Gyarums." You just don't. And even if somehow there was a time where the canonicity of all of this just somehow got retconned with the Magistralverse and TMRA merging together, I highly doubt that Malik Magistral would be okay with the way Mr. Magistral Malil has been acting lately. Just as much as Mal the Maniac would not be okay with the way I, as Mr. Manical Mallam, would be acting right within the Magistralverse over here, within Majesta Miles. But the TMRA universe is very separate from the Magistralverse. So, in conclusion, Majestyverse and Magistralverse are not the canonical same. And even if they somehow were, it would probably be through the Majestaverse of just the elements of Magistralverse and Majestyverse combining together. Which I highly doubt, because it'll be just a separate canon than a merged canon between Majestyverse and Magistralverse. I'm so good at talking just like him. It's just a typical type of YouTuber voice, or the typical type of artist voice of some sort. I have seen a clone of me before, and I'm not talking about Mal from Total Drama All-Stars, nor Mal from The Descendants. No, I saw another Mal, another Mr. Manical Mallam, but within the Magistral Crit universe, the Criticism verse. Unlimited swearing from the First Amendment on Tumblr, which must be so goody-goo to say anything wicked and evilly voodoo. But oh well, there's just another clone, there's another Mal variant, and they're clearly the imposter. I am the crewmate who does my tasks as Mal, but clearly there's just an imposter, a very sussy imposter named Moderator MAL. And this is just the beginning. You think just because you could act like me with getting angry and swearing means you're the Mal? You don't know the first thing about being Mal for a single second. And even if you focus on the Time Majesty Rubs Adventures Mal characterization, you just look like a little version of me who hasn't grown up well enough yet. Speaking of which, it would be so funny to see a moderator Malik Magistral on the Magistral crits, or maybe even a mod Mr. Magistral Malik. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. If you can make Mod Mal, you can make Mod Malik. It is not impossible to do so. You did a mod version of Nostalgia, a mod version of Azrael, which turned into Seifert Galaxy, and then you did a mod version of Zusa Zixpi, etc., etc., etc. Don't even get me started on Mod Overshadow. Mod Overshadow is just like Evil Jax. Evil Jax is like, "Oh, hi, I'm Evil Jax. I don't want to hear from you," said Jax. It's exactly how Overshadow Phantom would respond to you, Mod Overshadow. Then Mod Overshadow was like, "Oh, well, I could be Demi Boy, and by gender, who knows?" It's just so funny. It's so funny that I forgot to laugh. You and your little games. This is likely not even real! And when it comes to originality, you just get an F- because you like to steal! And I am not talking all Minecraft Steve with his flint and steel. And don't even get me started on Chicken Jockey. You know what Mr. Magistral Malik thought about in his head? He thought in his head, Border Collie. Just like that. He just makes his little jokes all the time. Him and his damn collies. If he likes thinking about Border Collies all the time, he might as well get Nostalgia Homesick to dress up like a Border Collie. Mistletoe Viscumalbum to dress up like a Border Collie. He might as well just draw Mistletoe Viscumalbum as a Border Collie. I am willing to bet on the table that Mistletoe Viscumalbum said that if she was a dog, she would be a Border Collie. And I bet Mr. Magistral Malik would say more than just them collies. But oh well, I like to point out how Mistletoe Viscumalbum came into Mr. Magistral Malik's life. You see, Mr. Magistral Malik in the real world never had many friends, not even a girlfriend. So I created the imaginary significant other for Mr. Magistral Malik, named Natasha Stausha Heimweh, or as he would like to call her, Natasha Stausha Himwe, or otherwise known as Nostalgia Homesick within the Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures continuity. Eventually, this idea evolved into Mistletoe Viscumalbum within the Magistralverse continuity. But oh well, it is all goody-goo in games for him. He is the one that created me, but I also indirectly created him as the eventual Lucifer Reborning Star. And I am somewhat proud with the results, but it should be me who's the devil and a demon, not just him. So I would rather him be the hero and the angel, and I'm gonna see if I could ensure that outcome. I'm still going to be, well, the anti-hero and the anti-villain, to say the least, as Mal. All I could do is sit back and relax. For the plan I have orchestrated this plan, even upon him looking through the final season of Squid Game Season 3. I have orchestrated this plan to make sure things will be all goody-good-goo in games for him. He even watched that Minecraft movie. But I have been orchestrating this goody-goo ending, to say the least. I am hoping it works easily, because if it doesn't, oh boy, the thing that would be breaking loose would be HE double hockey sticks. Wow, I really got through the mal-proof system where I can't really swear or do as much evilly voodoo things as I once have been able to. Throughout the pre-RETCONMAGEDDON, throughout post-RETCONMAGEDDON, I could barely do all of the evilly voodoos. So now, I am just, unfortunately, the anti-heroical goody good goo, unfortunately, in Mr. Magistral Malik's terms of words. But until next time, the last episode, don't even get me started on the last episode, it will be next month. On September, it will be the anniversary for a particular game that Mr. Magistral Malik likes. I wonder what the name of the game is called. I'll just have to do my research throughout Mr. Magistral Malik's head. Interesting. Now, the name of the game that I found out is... Well, I can't reveal the name of the video game that Mr. Magistral Malik likes playing. However, he'll disclose this information on the next episode. Well, the final episode for his Magistralverse meetings. His Magistralverse meetings. So honestly, I just recommend staying tuned for what to expect for the next episode, which will be the last. This will be one of these to-be-continued type of things anyways, and maybe there will be a previously on recap. Not through the Mal voice, unfortunately, but probably through the Mr. Magistral Malik voice anyways. I'm just gonna eat popcorn looking forward to the final episode for his Magistralverse meetings. And just really, go from there, because, well, it's his Magistralverse meetings. The Magistralverse. The whole entire story of how it starts and then ends. So, until then, this is gonna be a to-be-continued for my Magistralverse meetings. Not mine, but his. But until then, I'm just going to be getting a paper and getting a pen and just writing and going from there. Oh, and before this episode ends, I want to wish my luck for Mr. Magistral Malik. Good luck on wrapping up the final episode for your Magistralverse meetings. I wish you the best. It's not going to be easy, and I never said it was going to be easy, but, you're going to work on a final episode, a season finale, to say the least. This is probably the longest type of series anyways, for that matter. It'll probably take an hour or something. I would say the running time for your series, my Magistralverse meetings, will probably take approximately an hour to 30 minutes at the minimum. At least at the minimum, to say the least. That's how long it'll probably take. So, that's how the series is going to go anyways, for my Magistralverse meetings. But not mine, Mr. Magistral Malik's. After so, he's going to be drawing and animating furries. Anthropomorphic cartoon characters. Probably so for the series he's going to work on. Parallel to the Magistralverse, and somewhat with Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures. It's a series called Majestic Miles. I can't say too much about the series, or else Mr. Magistral Malik will be sad, so it's just an upcoming series he's probably going to work on. It just depends really on how things are going with his life. It's as simple as a cartoon series. So I'll probably have the Magistralverse themes and the Time Majesty Ruff's Adventures themes sprinkled up into an alternate continuity, something along those lines. I am just making my speculation. I am just Mal, so I can't really be able to say much for Mr. Magistral Malik. But what I can say is this series will be at least the series going forward throughout Mr. Magistral Malik, anyways, throughout the Magistralverse, Majestic Miles. So it's coming soon. Probably, or probably not. It honestly depends. I don't really know what's going to happen at the end. But what I know is he's going to be drawing and animating furries. Lots and lots of furries. Drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing the furries. He dreamed of drawing and animating furries, at least on YouTube, for as long as possible. And he says he's going to pursue that promise for as long as possible. Drawing all the furries on YouTube. It'll kind of be like Group 5 and Ed's World combined. Just bringing the good old days with Newgrounds and the good old days with YouTube with the two-dimensional cartoon animations that he used to watch earlier on and would like to continue its legacy of. He says it's his favorite thing to do, and he ends up finding community to be able to draw and animate furries of him, and he's looking to find some voice actors along the way. I don't know how long that will take, but it'll probably take a while, as in a year or something, half a year, a quarter of a year. He really wants the authentic voices, or just at least the effort to be put into the cartoon series. He's not trying to go for a cookie cutter content type of thing. He genuinely wants to make content. He's just looking for the proper guidance to make YouTube videos overall. He just needs to take the extra steps to be both a YouTuber and a normal human being. And that's all it's going to take for the eventual series, Majestic Miles, if the series comes out. But it'll probably take a long time, probably because of technical difficulties that I might not be aware of. But all I know is he's looking for a voice cast. All I know is he's trying to look for a way to redesign the majority of the characters and get them to fit through this upcoming series, Majestic Miles, and go from there. A lot of people keep copying his artwork and animation, so he wants to be able to redesign some of the characters in a way that looks a million times more better and difficult to replicate by anyone else, unless they try so hard to go as far as to trace the artwork and animations, many of which Mr. Magistral Malik has worked really hard on working on, only for people to copy his artwork and animations, and even his voice at one point. Opportunistic, deceptive, upon the anti-Magistralverse part. But Mr. Magistral Malik will prove them wrong by showing how much he will evolve as a cartoonist. All of this are his wishes that he would like to fulfill throughout his promise to make a cartoon series that people would unironically enjoy and like to stay tuned for. Not some auditorial series, let alone some short series, let alone some book series, but a cartoon series, more specifically, episode by episode and season by season. A promise as his reason. So anyways, it is I, Mr. Manical Mallam, and I will be signing off. This has been my Magistralverse meetings. Not mine, but Mr. Magistral Malik's Magistralverse meetings. And until then, please stay tuned for the last episode for my Magistralverse meetings. Until next time, goodbye. Adios. Be sure to watch the prior episodes if you haven't seen all the episodes yet before this final episode gets released. This has been my Magistralverse meetings. Goodbye. See you on episode 7.